presentation of Team Glory Sports. It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM, and welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Good morning, live from the Sports Center at 97.5 Glory FM. I'm Mike Boyford. I'm with you until 10 o'clock this morning as we bring you the latest in local sports news from the high school ranks all the way to the pros this morning. We've got a big show in store for you. We'll be talking to a couple of local high school football coaches. We'll also wrap things up this morning talking with our own Harper LaBelle. We'll talk about the Atlanta Falcons as they get ready for the upcoming NFL season. Last night in high school football, as you heard right here on 97.5 Glory FM, it was Flowery Branch winning their first game of the season as the Falcons take advantage of some key mistakes by the Habersham Central Raiders last night. A big night by Griffin Harper as he rushed for 176 yards, and the Falcons win their first game of the year, winning 23-13 over Habersham Central. A good night in Hall County last night as a lot of teams had some big victories last night. It was East Hall winning their second game of the year, 2 straight for the Vikings as Matt Turner's team won their game last night by defeating good old Thorpe County team from last night, winning 40-7. Also, it was Cherokee Bluff running past the Appalachian Wildcats on the road in Bethlehem, 49-7 in that one. A big victory for West Hall as they win their first game of the year by defeating Northview, 55-14, the final in that ball game. It was the first game of the season for the North Hall Trojans. They lose their game on the road at Wesleyan, a tough one for the Trojans. A last-second field goal lifts the Wolves past the Trojans 24-21. First game of the season for Dawson County. They fall to East Forsyth. The Broncos improved to 2-1. They defeat Dawson County 38-3 from last night. It was Johnson opening up their season. It's going to be a tough year for Coach William Morrell's team as they're just so young. They were beaten by Franklin County 68-7 last night. Also up in the mountains in Hiawassee, it was Towns County shutting out Riverside Prep 14-0. Here in Gainesville, it was Lakeview Academy going to 2-0 the season as they were victorious last night over Creekside Christian. 52-6, the final in that ball game. One of the biggest games in the state had to be Beaufort over Benedictine. The Cadets out of Savannah, one of the powerhouses in southeast Georgia, and it was a wild one last night as Brian Ampling had a big night, really, they said, surprising some people with the offense, and it was Beaufort coming from behind. With a minute 5 seconds to go in the game, they get what it was a tying touchdown. Then they go for 2 on the swinging gate PAT, and they won 29-28 for their first win of the season, avoiding going 0-2 for the first time in forever there at Beaufort. We'll bring you all the details of all the games around the area and more coming up here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll kick things off by talking to some local coaches. Hopefully coming up next, we'll be talking to Coach Josh Niblet, the head coach of the Red Elephants of Gainesville. They play back on Thursday. You'll hear about that game and more here on 97.5 Glory FM.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Beaufort, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
At Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation. The new ideas in our industry that lead to better use of resources and improved ways of conducting business.
To be an innovative cooperative, I believe we always have to be looking at how we are handling our member experience.
Innovation is really important to Jackson EMC. It's our role to really make sure we're on the cutting edge of these new changes in technology that are coming to the power sector.
Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
If you need to communicate to a lot of people, you need Gainesville Signs and Graphics. They are a full-service sign company. From consultation through construction, they'll handle all aspects of your sign needs. Political signs, banners, magnetics, monuments, subdivision and street signs, as well as vehicle and storefront graphics. So trust your sign needs to Gainesville Signs and Graphics. Check out their website at GainesvilleSignsandGraphics.com or call 770-533-5700.
97.5 Glory FM brings you the Saturday morning sports show. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Coach Josh Niblett. His Red Elephants went on the road on Thursday, and Alabama, and they defeated Moody by a final of 31-7. He's on the road this morning. Hey, Josh, thanks for taking some time with us this morning. So you're up in Rome, Georgia today?
I am up in Rome, Georgia. So Sky, my youngest, so he's playing here. So they got a scrimmage this morning. So we got up early this morning and made the track over here to watch him, and then we'll spend a little family time, eat a little lunch, and then we'll head back. I got to start getting prepared for Westlake.
All right, so everybody know, too, about how Sky's doing. I know he had a little injury last week. How's he doing?
He's doing good, man. So we're excited about him being back today and getting some reps, in the scrimmage. So hopefully, he'll stay healthy today and have a good day and be able to execute.
It was a quick turnaround, too, for him, so that's good to hear. And, of course, Shorter, they're still in the Gulf South, right?
Yes, they are. And then next year, like the year after this one, they'll join there's a conference in, I think it's in either the Carolina Conference. And so, I know they're excited about making that transition. So, Sky's excited about being a part of that. That'd be some kind of, historical opportunity that he'll be a part of within his legacy here. So
that's great to hear. Well, talking about history being made, how about the Red Elephants going on the road to win their first ever game outside the state back on Thursday?
Yeah, well, to God be the glory, man. I'm just proud of our kids. It was we want to be a national brand, and the only way you do that, you got to have a process within what you're doing and take small steps. And we wanted to play an out-of-state team, so last year we played an out-of-state team from Florida, and we played Coconut Creek, and that was big. And then, I think they end up the week after we beat them and beat a team that, played with St. Thomas Aquinas, who's a nationally ranked team. And so this year, we had an opportunity within our schedule, which was tough to schedule games, and, found a team in Moody who, the guy that's there, Jake Gaines, who played at Georgia, was at Thompson, a place that we had played when I was at Hoover. That was kind of our rival. And so you're going to have to go through one of our two places if you want to make it to a state championship. And so, he's a guy that played there and our coach there at linebackers, and got an opportunity to be a head coach. And he's changed the culture there. They expect to win the 5A state championship this year. And so he wants to play the best competition he can play, and we do too. And so allowed us an opportunity to have an overnight trip and play it on a Thursday night, and it was like a playoff atmosphere, man. I can't say enough about our fans and our band and everybody that was there. They set the tone for the game and also finished the deal.
Tell everybody, too, about the philosophy of scheduling a game like this. I think you were talking about it really gets these players ready for the next level.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got kids in your program that may not get a chance to go play college ball, and then you got kids that are going to go play big-time college ball, and then kids that are going to get opportunity just to play college ball at whatever level possible they can play at. And when you give them that experience, those that are going know what it's like, and those that may not get to know what it's like. And so, look, that's what it's all about, is giving your kids experiences that they can't get anywhere else doing anything else. And so we're really proud of that.
I'm sure Shorter would love to have the kind of defense you got right now. I heard that's one of the biggest things you got going for you right now is that defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the biggest thing for us, within our program is, allowing our kids opportunities to grow as men first, and then, as students, and then athletes and players. And I think when you're able to be able to do that, then, you're able to handle those kind of things in life. We made our schedule out this year. We made it out to make sure we were battle tested and give us those opportunities to be at our best level of play when it's time to be at our best level of play. And so, this week's no different with playing Westlake.
Well, the thing about it, too, it seems like your offense is making some good adjustments at halftime and doing a job in the third quarter.
Yeah, well, and we have, but we also have had some opportunities that, I feel like, the other night, we row down on the first drive, we drive it down, and, we just couldn't connect on a throw and a catch that we're probably a little deep on the route, and we probably still could have made the catch. And, that was one of those that, you'd like to have back because you're going to get points from that drive. And, I think we were down inside the 20 on that one. And then, we come back and, we actually, during that half, we actually have a shot in the second quarter in the first quarter to get a pick six, and goes right through our hands. And, when you have those opportunities, you got to make the most of them. So really at halftime, the score could have easily been, instead of 3-0, could have been, 17-0, but it wasn't. And so we went in at half and just told our kids, look, just keep playing at a high level, and you got to execute. And then I think we found some things that we felt like, hey, on the perimeter, get the ball in our playmakers' hands, and then we got to, be able to give our guys up front an opportunity with some angles and some leverages playing the numbers game. And we were able to do that, and I'm proud of our kids and the way they executed, and then our defense just took over.
All right, Josh, thanks for taking some time this morning. Tell Sky hey, and have a good day. Appreciate it.
I sure will. Appreciate you, Mike.
Be blessed, man. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM. Well, hope we got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports. Back on 97.5 Glory FM, we're talking to one of the doctors from NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. Dr. Gregory Woods is joining us. Dr. Woods, thanks for being with us today. Tell everybody about yourself, please.
I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I've been with our group here for 10 years. I originally grew up in Kansas, played football in Kansas, and got interested in medicine, and did my medical school and residency at the University of Kansas and a fellowship in sports medicine at the University of Florida. And I've been practicing for, about 34 years.
Wow, so you've got a great background. So did you see many injuries when you were playing football yourself to say, okay, I know what I need to do in the future to take care of these injuries?
Yeah, I had a major knee injury my junior year and had surgery, and was able to come back my senior year and play again.
So tell me, how are things now when it comes to surgical techniques there at NGPG now?
Well, we're doing the latest and greatest in trying to take care of people's injuries, both in getting people in a really timely fashion. We have in our group a number of orthopedic surgeons with sports medicine fellowship training, including myself, and we're able to get people in quickly and get them an appointment, get an evaluation, and it's really important to get a good history and physical examination first, get an idea for a diagnosis, and then we have available the latest and greatest technologies for testing. And then when we see people and come up with a diagnosis, we provide a plan of care, and sometimes it's surgical, sometimes it's non-surgical, and we'll take care of people till the resolution of their problem.
Dr. Woods, give me an idea maybe of the percentages difference between just regular type of injuries compared to sports injuries you might see there at NGPG?
Well, it depends on each individual's location and practice, and actually it's changed over the years. But now with more of us doing sports medicine, each individual doc probably does about 30 to 50% sports medicine, and the rest usually general orthopedics, fracture care, trauma, joint replacement surgery. And we have a really great program here where each of our sports medicine docs gets assigned to school coverage. I'm the director of the program, and we hook up a school and an orthopedic surgeon together, and that surgeon will provide on-site services on Friday night football games and beyond the sideline. And we have access to Monday morning injury walk-in clinic that we call the Black and Blue Clinic, and for a good reason.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. Yeah. So right there, Doctor, tell me about how important it is, like, for example, someone being on the sidelines or courtside in the springtime with different sports, that kind of thing. How important is it to see maybe that athlete as soon as they are injured to help them with their recovery?
Well, it does help to make the initial diagnosis and begin the process of diagnosis, and seeing the injury sometimes is really important because you know the mechanism, how they got hit, where they got hit, or did they do the hitting, and it helps a lot to do that particular on-site visualization. But I will say that it's not needed in all injuries, but it helps. And the biggest thing it helps is it helps create relationships with the families, the students, the coaches, the personnel at the school, such there's a trust developed between the doctor and the program.
We're talking with Dr. Gregory Woods of NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. Let everybody know how they can find out more about NGPG and where you're located, sir.
The best way is to call our main numbers and our website as well, NGPG Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And you can find us on all the social media as well as online. You can also see profiles of each of our doctors and the locations for each of the doctors in which they spend most of their time. I'm at this time, I'm spending most of my time in our southern region and operate out of our Winder Barrow Hospital and some at Brazelton as well. And then I see people that are in the Jefferson, Winder, Bethlehem areas. And that's where I'm seeing most of the patients for me right now.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us here on 97.5 Glory FM. We got much more for you coming up next.
This is Matt Nix, president of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
Back to school shouldn't mean back to the doctor. Make sure you go to Riverside Pharmacy for all of your health needs. They have everything from hand sanitizers to all of the vitamins you'll need. But if your child does get sick, then the expert pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can get your family back to school by filling all of your prescriptions. They'll even deliver them in the Gainesville area. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
And back on the
Hey,
Saturday
it's
Morning
Coach Mark
Sports Show.
Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC Security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number one. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia Sports. The Saturday Morning Sports Show. Let's go back to the phones now and talk to Coach Jason Tester, the head coach of the Flyer Branch Falcons, a game you heard last night here on 97.5 Glory FM. They win by a final of 23-13. Hey, good morning, Jason. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad.
Good to hear from you this morning. I appreciate you taking some time with me this morning. Now, the morning after, tell me about how it is for you and looking back at that win from last night.
We can get deep here. For me, I'm looking out the window of my office. I got laundry rolling. I got Junior Falcons having a big jamboree scrimmage, and we got ice baths. So it's football everywhere. But obviously it's a lot more brighter after a win on a Friday night. So we're just prepping for the weekend and getting prepared for Game 3.
I appreciate your time. So tell me about your usual Saturday night after a game Friday night.
It's a lot of honey-do between grocery shopping and kids' practices, and we're all over the place, divide and conquer at my house. But it's really, for me, it's just about kind of hitting the reset button. Friday nights are, if you're doing it right, are obviously emotional. There's highs, there's lows, and we just try to keep our kids in the proper mindset, and they were obviously elated after how everything finished up last night. So it's just getting into the film, breaking ours down, and going over corrections. And we already got kids that are sending us a message, when you sharing it. So they're chomping at the bit to take a look at what they did right, what they did wrong, and then we'll change gears over to Forsyth Central and preparing for them, and get into the game plan tomorrow with the coaching staff and get us rolling.
Tell me about the improvement from week 1 to week 2.
Well, I could say that there was obviously a ton of room for it after week 1, and that's the biggest thing we stressed. We knew in our kids, we talk how we know we're young. We know our senior class is small. We know there's a lot of sophomores and a couple freshmen that are out there playing. And the biggest thing is, just mindset, body language that we talk with our kids, and continuing to grow and take good coaching, be able to fix the mistakes. If you're making it again and again and again, then we need to evaluate that and be able to move forward. On top of that, just getting our kids to compete day in and day out, and understand that everybody has a role, from our freshman focus on the team as part of practice to the other end of the field, our varsity focus, and those guys in between, how they earn time. So, that has been our mindset in getting our kids to believe that if they go out and do their job, keep it simple, alignment, assignment, go out and execute, good things are going to happen. And that was the challenge yesterday. I tried to keep it simple for them as far as the message, and just getting them to focus at, the rep at hand. And if you do great, fantastic, flush it, let's move on to the next one. Just continue to go out and do your job.
So tell me about the improvement of the defense from game 1 to game 2.
Probably the biggest thing is just, creating turnovers. We forced, I think it was 5 fumbles. The first big one, had a potential for a block punt. It was set up so well that he didn't even attempt to kick it. He just took off running, and we were able to tackle him and obviously flip the field and punch in that first score. Defense played a lot better. Our coverage, we had some breakdowns in that week 1. We focused on that quite a bit this past week. And again, just building confidence in our kids. So, I think that's probably the biggest factor. We need to get better at tackling. We had a lot of opportunities to make plays and put our offense in a good position, and a missed tackle here or there cost us a bit. So that's something we're gonna focus on this week. But defense played really well. Came up with big stops when we needed them.
We're talking with Jason Tester, the head coach of Flying Brass, this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Also, I noticed, of course, you want to improve on your passing game. Harper Bell and I were talking about you got to run the football to win ball games, and you did that last night, especially with the running of Griffin Harper.
Yeah, we know our offense centers around our running backs, and our quarterback's an athlete. Our passing game has been fairly inept, borderline dismal. I'll be going to be honest with you, and that's something we work on in practice, but we know where our bread and butter is, and we're going to continue to improve because we've got to be able to stretch the field vertically and horizontally. We put in a little wrinkle as far as our offensive package yesterday, and it paid dividends, contributed for the first 2 scores, and really kind of, kept Habersham off balance and allowed us to control the ball, control the clock, which is the name of the game.
Buddy, congratulations. Appreciate you joining us this morning, and we'll talk to you next week for your game against Forsyth Central, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank Thanks, Mike.
Thanks so much. Jason Tester, the head coach of the Firebrands Falcons, joining us this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Coming up next, we got another coach to talk about his game from last night. That comes up next here on 97.5 Glory FM.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Siphon Logistics' commitment is to provide you, the customer, with on-time pickup and delivery every time. Members of the Siphon family have been in the transportation business since 1984. The Siphon Logistics transportation professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing maximum flexibility and options to produce the most successful shipping arrangements. Call Siphon Logistics at 770-287-8485 and take a look at their website at siphonlogistics.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM, just past the halfway point of the program this morning. I'm with you until 10 here on your radio station for North Georgia Sports, 97.5 Glory FM, with a live YouTube stream on our video stream at Team Glory Sports. Make sure you subscribe to our new YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. Got a great pleasure in introducing you and welcoming to our station Jeff Lee, who's the new head coach at Riverside Prep, former coach at Dawson County for about a decade, and joining us this morning to talk about his team at Riverside Prep. Good morning, sir.
Mike, hey, how you doing? Good morning. I'm glad you got me on here. I'm proud to be on here and talk about some Riverside football, man. But I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I'm glad to get a chance to talk with you. Of course, I followed you all the years you were at Dawson County, and now tell me about coming to Riverside Prep and that reason you came to Riverside.
Yeah, I did 30 years in Georgia and was fortunate enough to get 30 years in to retire. And my wife and I said, hey, I still wanted to do this thing and felt like I still can contribute to helping young men. And so we went to Florida, and I was down in Florida right at 10 football seasons. And through circumstances of both our mothers passing away, we felt, okay, let's call this a stop to all this moving around. Even at our age, I said, let's find a place. And we felt like North Georgia's whole area was home to us. And so we started looking. And I was putting out the feelers of, heck, I'll be an assistant coach at a private school or 49% guy or whatever. And just so happens that Richard Crumley, the principal, dean of students, at Riverside, was the principal when I retired at Holmes, at Dawson. And I happened to communicate with him and said, hey, I got a head football job, and would you be interested? And I knew of Riverside because I'd played them before when I was at GMC and at Dawson, and so knew of Riverside quite a bit. And so just researched it a little bit, and I am so excited I'm here. It really is. It is a special place that's really different. It's been there since 1907, so it has a lot of history behind it, and and I'm just proud to have that opportunity to be able to coach these guys.
As I was telling you in my email, is that I've covered a lot of Riverside football back in the day when I first got into broadcasting in 1978 through the mid-1980s. I used to walk the sidelines there with the chain crew, and I would keep stats and for our radio broadcasts that I was working with from that standpoint, and saw from Earl Biso on the day and Richard Nichols, who's a legend there at Riverside. And so it's a special place there at the academy. I know it's been affected from COVID, really did a number on the academy. Where are you right now when it comes to numbers?
Yeah, just a brief on that, man. You talk about some guys that have tremendous. They've, has reached out to coaches. B has reached out to me on email. I can't wait for him to get down at homecoming, just to, to be able to pick his brain and talk to him in person about some things, and looking forward to that. But COVID did a bad thing to Riverside. It really did. Knock the numbers down, and they were very competitive then. And but right now we're at 32 kids. That's a huge portion of the high school number that is the student population is there. I think kids are starting to see, the what we're doing and what we're trying to build, and the excitement that the other kids, our cadets, are having and going out and speaking of it. And so I'm having guys now. The newer guys we're getting, they don't have any football experience. They may be coming from Guatemala or Kazakhstan or some of those places like that. But I tell people, I said, I know I'm coaching everything, but I see it as just teaching football, teaching what those guys call it. I want to learn American football. And so you have an opportunity to be able to do that to a very unique crowd. And but right now we're at 32. We started middle school football back, and those numbers are right at Coach Brian Bays is doing that, our athletic director. He's the head football coach there, head middle school coach, and our numbers are up in the 24, I think it is. So we've got a large number of the cadet corps that is starting to make football more important there.
Well, I'll say this kiddingly. It's sort of like a captive audience there with the cadets there on campus, and I know they stress the extracurricular activities there, and one of the things is football.
It is, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand the middle school because last year, my understanding, I got there in February, I think they only had one sport really to play, and that was basketball. And so we did want to bring that back, not just for them to have something to do, but also make it very visible for our kids, that we do offer a full athletic field, and that just helped with enrollment increasing, hopefully. And, so all those things combined, getting the numbers out there is important because, at this time last year, the last couple of years, they said, Coach, we passed the point where, those guys would quit because they got frustrated. It just wasn't fun. And it's just quite the opposite right now. I had some come up to me Friday, Coach, I want to play football. Can I go tonight? I said, no, you may want to just go on the trip. There's a whole process we have to go through. Come talk to me Monday, and we got to, go through the whole spiel. You got to do certain things to be able to do this. So, again, we want to increase our numbers, and I think that's one way. I think athletically, not taking anything away from the school and where we're headed academically or the military part of it, which we fully incorporate into our football program. That I think it can be done. I think your numbers can increase.
That's great to hear. Talking with Jeff Lee, the head coach at Riverside Prep, the Eagles playing in the GIAA, the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, with Lakeview Academy. Last night, you go on the road to Hiawassee to play our longtime friend Jason Rockmore and his Towns County Indians. Tell me just about the experience of going on the road with this team.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick thing. And I don't say it as a pity thing. I say it with pride that what our kids go through on a daily basis, from the making of the bed to being held accountable. They don't get woke up with mom or somebody shaking them gently and say, hey, it's time to get up now. They got a bugle that's going off. They got a TAC officer that's, hey, we got to do this. We got to get up. We got to be dressed appropriately. Our bed's got to be made. Our clothes got to be hung the correct way. Then you got to march to breakfast, and then you got classes. And on Friday, our typical game day is a lot different. And they do that. They get in fatigues with boots and a cover on, and they do an hour and a half of drill in the morning and on a game day. And I don't make excuses for them for that. We accept that, and they knew that when I got there that we are not going to change what we do here because you play sports or play football. That's part of this is part of what you do, and it's part of how you're going to get better, and it's what separates you. And by Friday, I'll tell you a quick story. We went down and played the preseason game, and fortunately, it was a good little piece, and we were able to get on a charter bus. And I'd only had the kids for about a week altogether, so it was learning their names was still an issue. And but anyway, we get on the bus and we have a pregame meal, and we're on the bus, and it was quiet as all get out. And so I look back, every one of those kids were kicked back, and we actually had to wake some of them up when we got there. That's what the day of a Riverside Cadet football player is like. But since then, though, going on the road, just beautiful scenery, course, going up there. And Jason's done a great job with Towns County. He really has. And, you know, he made a commitment. They made a commitment to get better, and that's what I used as an example. But we were 35-point underdogs last night, and we had a chance. We had 3 touchdowns called back, and it was 7-0 in the fourth quarter. And you kind of pinch yourself and say, oh, my gosh, we've just been together for 2 weeks, and these dudes are just – they're playing lights out. And so, but, yeah, it was great going on the road. But we want to make this an opportunity for these guys to be as normal of a sense of a high school kid as they can. And we actually get to wear our jerseys on game day, of course, over our fatigue pants and things like that. And that's just part of what we're trying to do is not take anything away from the commandant and the military. I love those guys, and they support us. And just to be able to have the opportunity, this is what high school Friday night looks like. And it was great. Our kids loved going to Towns, and it was pretty special. At the end of the game last night, their fans, and they were coming over to see the kids, they stopped and went over and congratulated our kids and talked to them about, and I think they realized how man we were at that time. And to be able to do what we did last night in front of a away crowd, they earned a lot of respect, our kids did.
And that's good to hear. I know one of the big challenges you got to face is just the fact you don't get them until late in the summertime, and you just had a short time to get ready for that first game of the season. Yes,
sir, it was. That's and I knew I had to adjust how I approach things, because I'm used to having, you know, a Holmes County or Dawson or Jones or any of those places we've been to having, okay, guys, we're going to do 26 workouts, 24 workouts, 18 workouts together, and you're going to have those kids all summer and do team stuff. And we don't here, and I knew that going, so I had to readjust. And I knew we had about 19 or 20 kids coming out of spring that were hopefully going to return. It was emailing parents all summer, emailing kids, sending workouts, sending videos, communicating, calling, checking on them, and just hoping, keeping your fingers crossed that they did come back. And so I have a local base, which we're trying to build. We're trying to get, and that's when Riverside was really good. They had a strong local base. And I know competition for kids are tough, and it's going to take a special kid to come to our place. And so anyway, I got them back on the 19th. The week after everybody started. Everybody started on Monday, the 24th, I believe. I got kids back. I brought my 19 in on Sunday. I didn't get my new kids until a week after. So we practiced together that Sunday afternoon, and we played a preseason game on Friday, and still getting to know each other and things like that. So, yeah, I try to build a local base where we do bring some kids in. We were very fortunate. I have 10 local kids this year, what I consider 30 minutes away. And so that means they could hopefully drive. But the unfortunate thing for that, 6 of them were too young to drive, so there are only 4 of them could actually on their own. And it takes family commitment to be able to get a guy there and then drive back to work and pick them up. And I know that. And so, but you have to adjust. And it causes you, forces you to be a little more tech savvy, to get stuff out of kids, and also be able to do some things offensively and defensively, which will be simple but yet effective.
Well, you got a special event coming up in my mind this Thursday for a lot of fans to get a chance to see what Riverside's all about. You're playing Thursday night against Lanier Christian there at McGinnis Field. Tell us about that.
We're so excited about this. I want to brag on our cadet corps and our parents. We played the first home game, and unfortunately we lost 14-6. They got called at halftime due to the weather last week, and we felt like in the middle of the second quarter we could sense that, okay, now we're starting to settle down. Now we had a touchdown call back to tie it type thing, and the cadet corps was just unbelievable. And we've ignited a source that in the past couple of years maybe not been as supportive. But those guys were engaged, and they did a great job. I think they were really pleased with what they saw, the product they saw on the field. But, yeah, we played Thursday night, the only game in town. Anybody that just wants to see it, it's an in-county game with a Lanier Christian. You know, they're 0-2, we're 0-2, and somebody's not going to be 0-2. Somebody's getting a win Thursday night. But we have a big event that we try to make it a special event on Thursday night to encourage everyone to come out. And we've got the cannon back, Mike.
All right.
We're firing the cannon, and everybody was kind of jokingly, well, Coach, we're going to fire it when you come on the field, and because we fire it when you score, and I know what they were saying, we just hope you score so we can fire it again. Well, that wasn't the case. We were able to do it a couple of times, had one call back. So it's getting used, which is a good thing, but we brought that back as part of the history and the tradition of it, because I've been on that visitor sideline before GMC, playing here and coaching here on a Saturday afternoon with no lights, and you knew the cannon was going off. You standing there watching it, and it still startles you.
Oh, yes.
Off. But we had to warn the neighborhood folks around. We did different methods. Is, hey, we're bringing the cannon back, so if you hear cannon go off, then a boom, then that's us. But we got to we invite everybody, and like I said, media folks. I'm telling you, we're the only game in town, and it's going to be a good small school football game between two teams that are hungry and growing.
Sounds great, Jeff. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk later on, okay?
Mike, I appreciate you having me on, man. Go Eagles.
Thanks much. We'll talk to you later. We got much more for you coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports.
Your home is part of you, and keeping it comfortable and well-maintained is essential. Conditioned Air Systems is North Georgia's solution for residential heating, air, and plumbing services. For more than 40 years, our family has been committed to delivering the highest quality service by our certified technicians and plumbers. Experience the difference today when you choose Conditioned Air Systems for your home's heating, air, and plumbing needs. Quality you can feel, service you can trust. Visit ConditionedAirSystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports. The Saturday Morning Sports Show with a live video stream on our new YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. It's at Team Glory Sports. You get a chance to see me right now working behind the scenes. Pardon me, there, losing my voice all of a sudden. You see me working behind the scenes here. You can see what it's like live radio at its very best. You see the swag we have in our sports center we call here our main studio at 97.5 Glory FM. Let's recap last night's high school football action. As you heard right here, and you heard from Coach Jason Tesler this morning, it was Flowery Branch defeating Habersham Central 23-3. It was North Hall falling to Wesleyan as the Wolves kick a field goal with 3 seconds left to defeat the Trojans 24-21. Cherokee Bluff with a big 49-7 road win over Appalachia. It was East Hall defeating Oglethorpe County 40-7. You heard from Coach Matt Turner last night on the final score, which you could hear Friday nights between 11 and midnight on 97.5 Glory FM. It was West Hall with the victory at home as they defeat Northview 55-14. As you heard from Coach Josh Niblett, the Red Elephants of Gainesville played back on Thursday. It was Gainesville over Moody, Alabama, 31-7. Also back on Thursday night, it was North Forsyth falling to the team from Creekview down in Macedonia, 20-14. Also from last night around the area, it was, you heard from Coach Jeff Lee there, Towns County blanking Riverside Prep 14-0. Lakeview Academy, they go to 2-0 on the season with a 52-6 win as they were victorious over Creekside Christian. Lanier Christian falls last night to Kingsridge Christian. It was Johnson opening the season with a loss to Franklin County from last night. And also around the area, it was Beaufort 1 point better than Benedictine in a great matchup last night. They had 2-point PAT with 1:05 to go in the ball game to defeat Benedictine 29-28. It was East Jackson with a historic win last night. They defeat Commerce 14-13. Also, it was Jefferson over Jackson County, the Battle of Jackson County there in those two games. And it was East Forsyth over Dawson County last night, 38-7. Coach Cannon's Broncos are 2-0 on the season. We'll see them play Flowery Branch on September 27th. Flowery Branch's next home game, they're hitting the road for the next month. And talking about hitting the road with us now, let's go on the phones now and talk to our partner Harper LaBelle, who's joining us this morning. Great broadcast from last night. You'll get a chance to hear Harper on Friday nights here on 97.5 Glory FM with our high school football games. Then on Saturday, starting next Saturday night with Georgia State football as they take on Georgia Tech. And also we can talk about the Atlanta Falcons as we get ready for the first game of the season. Good morning, Harper.
Mike, I'm wondering if there was enough makeup at the department store for you, and if I were there wouldn't be enough. For
Trust me, there's not.
These TV, going video in the studio is, have your hair looking nice, brush your teeth real good, and I don't know about that.
It's a good thing I'm blind, okay?
After a late night last night, and then you got to get up early to do it all over again.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here from that standpoint. It's a good thing I'm blind. I can't see how it really looks on video from that standpoint, because I can only imagine how it has to look from that standpoint. We had a good time last night, but also let's talk about, you and I will talk throughout the season when it comes to the NFL. You're the expert for us for the Atlanta Falcons. Tell me about what you think about the 3 games in the preseason and what it meant to Coach Raheem Morris.
Well, yeah, we were in Flowery Branch for the wrong reason, I guess, or for a different reason, of course. There was nothing wrong about it. It was a nice game there for the high school Falcons, not so much for the pro team down the street. I looked at this morning. Steelers play at 1 o'clock today. Carolina is at Buffalo, and the Chargers are at Dallas. Why do I bring that up? Because each of them is 0-2, and they could go 0-3 in the preseason. Cleveland, Arizona, and Washington are also 0-2 with games either later tonight or on Sunday. Cincinnati is already 0-3, as is Kansas City and Atlanta. So for anyone that is worried about where the Falcons are placed right now after the preseason, just relax. It's okay. Last night, our number 2 and 3 guys didn't do a good job against Jacksonville's number 1s. But not to worry. It doesn't matter. It was a great way for a lot of guys that might not be on the team in the next couple of days to get seen, to have exposure, and hopefully get a job somewhere else, if that's what the good Lord has for them. I'm not exactly sure how many are going to make the team from who played last night, but that's my overall take, Mike, is that it's nothing to worry about. You had all the guys that really, may not make the roster get a chance to play.
All right, so right there, Harper, why would Jacksonville play the number 1s last night the way they did?
Well, every coach is trying to figure out this new or newer system. In the last couple of years, I think they're trying to fine-tune it, Mike, where we didn't play our guys enough last year, so I'm going to play them a little bit more this year, or vice versa. Like the Falcons really, Jake Matthews, for example, hasn't played a single down of meaningful, in-game football.
Sure, good point.
However, they did have a scrimmage, Mike, just a couple of days ago, so that's another reason, and I think the guys are flat, and they didn't do a whole heck of a lot. The time of possession was so lopsided last night. Obviously, we were in Flowery Branch for a different reason, but I just looked real quick at some of the stats. Give or take, Jacksonville had the ball for 38 minutes. Atlanta had it for 21. Jacksonville had 412 total yards. The Falcons had 158. Jacksonville had 30 first downs. The Falcons had 8. So it was a pretty lopsided game. The Falcons had 2 drives out of a total of 9 where they gave the ball back on downs. They didn't kick a punt. They didn't try to kick a field goal. They just tried to make something happen and give their guys some exposure. They didn't throw the ball a heck of a lot. And I'm not upset with that because that's exactly what Zach Robinson told us at the beginning of preseason. We're not going to show you anything. Not the fans. The league. We're not showing you anything. We will have everything ready for Pittsburgh in week 1. That's 2 weeks away. So just be a little more patient, Falcon fans, and things will change.
All right, so tell me about this then. From the fan standpoint, seeing them play last night, from a fan standpoint, what do they want to see in a preseason game?
Well, I got chewed out a couple years ago. I had a friend at work that got mad at me because he invited a friend of his from out of town to watch the Birds play. And he's really upset with me. I go, are you really mad at me? Well, kind of. I'm mad at everybody. He goes and he pays full price for a ticket, and he didn't get to see any of the stars that he wanted to see. And so there's a little bit of a debacle there. You're gonna find the empty seats. You're not going to find any demand, and you're going to find a lack of value for the preseason. And I think the league will consider changing it, but for right now, I don't think they know how. I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's just if we play these guys, the coaches and the front office are going to go, I'm not risking anybody's injury over that. I can't do that. Well, then why even play the games? So it could change in the next year or two. I don't see it changing much, but by the time the next collective bargaining agreement comes down, there is going to have to be some sort of a agreement between the players and the owners between how preseason is going to be improved. For one, it has to improve.
Sure.
And two, where you find value for everybody involved.
You remember back in the day, like I do, when they played at colleges in preseason, you saw everybody play.
Yeah, they had some all-star games that they put together, and I was around when they still had 5 preseason games, and that 5th one was kind of like a travel trip. You know, a place where you go. London used to have a game. I played in a game in Toronto. The Falcons had one where we went to Jacksonville. Jacksonville didn't have a team. My first year in the league, Seattle did not. Oh, excuse me. I was in Seattle, but they went to St. Louis to play New England.
Oh, wow.
Well, what are we doing that for? In St. Louis. And St. Louis didn't have a team at the time. The Cardinals had gone to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It's a top 10 market in terms of the amount of people that live there and in TV viewership, and they didn't have a team. And the league wanted to put one. Well, before you know it, the Rams were out there, and it just changed things. They're empty again. St. Louis definitely needs a team.
Yes, they do.
And they're going to have to get that figured out when they look to expand.
That's the word. Is that a bad word or good word, expansion, you think?
Well, for me, going from 32 teams to 36 would make sense, because then you could have 6 divisions of 6 teams. Mathematically, it would work out. If you remember, a while ago, there were 31 teams in the league when Cleveland got their franchise back, but that didn't work out. That was just a nightmare from a schematic standpoint. So if you add 4, St. Louis, maybe back in San Diego, you might consider Salt Lake City, although there are some Sunday issues with the Mormon Church that could be a big problem. Portland, I don't know if they would support it. Birmingham, maybe. You know, there might be another place that anyone could think off the top of their head before you expand and go international, with either Toronto, somewhere in Mexico, or the possibility of a London or another Europe team.
How about San Diego?
Yeah, I said them. Yeah,
I missed something. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Their issue right now is they don't have a NFL stadium ready. The San Diego State plays in a much smaller field in the same parking lot where Jack Murphy was, but when they rebuilt the stadium, they didn't build it with 50, 60, 70,000 in mind.
Okay, I didn't know Jack Murphy's even gone. How about that? I'll keep up with that standpoint. All right, so we got give me a minute here about the new players of the Falcons that we talked about last night that they've obtained the past week.
Well, Matthew Judon, obviously, and Justin Simmons are the prizes of that catch, and those are the two that are, I think, going to make the biggest difference and really complete a good roster and turn it into a much better and possibly a great one. Every team that I've looked at in the past few years, the early Washington Redskins, when in the 80s they started to dominate, and then, of course, the 49ers. You look at the Bears. When New York won their Super Bowl, well, they had 2 in the 80s, so defense with all of those teams. They had to play well. Wait a second, the 49ers, they had a great offense. They sure did, but they had a top 5 defense as well. And so if the Falcons can be in that position, and again, we haven't seen it, so it's going to be very unique to us, but I'm looking forward to our ability to get the ball back. That's going to be critically important, and then Bijan might have a breakout year. I think Tyler Algier will be another guy to go, man, I'm glad we have him on our team. A running game with their ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and keep the sticks moving. I think that'll be a real critical factor for Kirk Cousins and or Michael Penix this year.
Harper, look forward to it, buddy. We'll talk to you next time. See you next Friday night, buddy.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Harper LaBelle joining us here on 97.5 Glory FM. That's the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Thanks for joining me. I'm back next Saturday morning here at 9:05 on 97.5 Glory FM.
97.